Have you ever hit that sweet spot where everything's going right, doors open, and opportunities magically appear? That is what golden alignment is all about. Dr. Beth Golden loves to play in that golden space and teach others how to get there and stay there. Get ready to listen, share, and experience what golden alignment in life can look like for you. Now, here's the host of Golden Alignment, author, speaker, and coach, Dr. Beth Golden.
Hello, and welcome to today's show of Golden Alignment. I am Dr. Beth Golden, your host, and I'm going to be my own very special guest today, and we're going to be talking about the Doer's Guide to Being. One of my strengths is creating order, and I love accomplishing everything on my to-do list or transferring it to the next day. I like doing things correctly and getting a pat on the back or recognition for those things. Yet I found myself simply doing. And, I was often subject to either a personal coach's opinion or a respected friend's opinion. And I felt like I was kind of being tossed about on the seat. Obviously, I knew and I didn't really care for. I realized I wasn't being true to myself or really focusing on, what was authentic to me, what was my to me, and I wasn't living my ideal lifestyle. And how often do we even think that? What is my ideal lifestyle? And all that remembered or was reminded that you create with your thoughts first in order to magnetize all that you desire. And pretty soon I was able to accomplish far more with less effort, and thus the Doer's Guide to Being was born. Now, living in this 3D world as human beings, not human doings, we are spirit inhabiting this body. And yes, we do things. We don't just sit on a lily pad like a frog and, relax all day. But are we directing our doingness? And as I said earlier, are we thinking about what we want in the future and magnetizing it to us? Now, I have a doctorate in metaphysical sciences, and several years later, I obtained a doctorate in divinity. So I have been studying these principles for about 11 years and coaching people. And I'm chuckling to myself, thinking, so why now did the light bulb go on? I talk about this all the time. I think about keeping your vibration up. So I think actually information comes to you when you're most ready to receive it. And you end up teaching what I have needed to learn. And hopefully it will resonate with many of you out there in the listening audience. So thinking about what you want to magnetize it to you. We have to sit in this place of daydreaming because the universe doesn't know if our thoughts present or future. It just creates energy. And every thought we have when we speak comes out of our mouth in the form of words, and it attracts or repels or creates a wall of things that you do or do not want. So first of all, I was looking at my life, and I have a fabulous, I'm really happy, but I became very clear about the fact that I tend to process information in an active, negative way. Now, why would I even say it in that form of a sentence? I am an expert in the Ultimate Life Tool technology, which actually ends up providing a manual for each individual to share with them their true perfection and what they need to stay in alignment with that. Because we live in this very toxic world. We hear that if you listen to the news, you get thrown off. Or if you are tired, if you drank too much, if your kids are acting out, if it's rough at work, all those things play on our hearts, minds, emotions, and kind of creates how our days unfold. So what is that saying? Does the dog wag the tail or the tail wag the dog? Be subject to all those things and have them dictate to how we are going to conduct ourselves in this lifetime. And if we have this beautiful set of very simple combination about who we are and stay in the strength of our being, it really helps us kind of off that toxicity. They're in alignment with our sense of health and well-being. So I took the assessment many years ago. It was 2007. I sat down with the owner. I can remember being in her little cottage and looking at this chart, and she's telling me all these wonderful things about myself, but it's just rows of numbers. And I'm thinking, well, how the heck does she get that out of that? And it's extremely accurate. I felt seen. I didn't feel vulnerable. I felt at peace. I felt like, oh my gosh, this is the first time someone who I don't know very well, I'd only a couple times before, is sharing really wonderful things about me, making some objective notes about how I could make myself better. And in very short order, I chose to become a practitioner in this knowledge, and I am now a level 5 practitioner as a trainer. And again, all this groundwork of information. So why all of a sudden now am I finally living it? If any of you have an answer to that, please call in. But I'm just going to go with the now and not dwell on how come I wasn't functioning at my highest and best before that. I've had a great life, but, my business would come and go in strength, and my clients would come and go, and I kept thinking, well, I don't really have a very consistent message, and what is my purpose? And really, purpose is helping people realize their perfection and optimizing their potential for success. And there's a really great way to do that. It's really simple, and if we keep it simple, it works. What is that? The KISS, keep it simple, sweetheart. And when I first went, I said, I'm going to keep it simple. And then I didn't. And now I'm back to keeping it simple. So how do we go from doing, and being swayed by the opinions of parents and bosses, and this is the for you, and not taking time to check in? And even if we do check in with ourselves, sometimes we need a little bit of guidance from someone outside to help us own our authentic gifts and talents. So the Ultimate Life Tool technology isn't a psychometric tool. Psychometric tools are like Myers-Briggs and DISC and colors and strength finders, which I love all of them. Throughout the course of time, I've taken all of them. I think they each give really valuable information. Yet this Ultimate Life Tool technology is the next advanced human assessment tool in the evolution of helping men and women realize who they are in a very beautiful way. And it actually holds all the information of all those other assessments. So I love taking all of them, but when you take the Ultimate Life Tool, its assessment, you find out what your traits are and how to move within them. For instance, are you regal? Do you stand up really tall? When you sit, do you sit with a straight back and maybe one leg other, and you don't slouch, and you're kind of very still and observing? And you take authority, or people give it to you because you know you're gonna follow through, or do you take it because you know you can do it better and faster? Well, we're a combination of all of these. Are you highly energetic? Are you a knight that is defending the kingdom, and you have a great sense of right and wrong and tons of energy, and you take the fastest route from point A to point B and actually bowling people over if they get. And you have the ability to see things very clearly, and you can actually slay people with your words. And it's never intended to be a mean thing, because in your mind it's like, why upset? It's the truth. Or get over it, it's the truth. So sometimes we need self-management in these areas. And another reason why this information is so important, so that we can evolve and make the best of our relationships in business, home, or life. Are you really jovial? Do you tend to carry your weight around the middle? Do you have like a receding hairline, like a big forehead? Do you love to read books and absorb information? And people who have this as their primary spoke, as we call it, will say, I really process information a lot more slowly. And I'll think, well, it's interesting. But you will do process information slowly because you're actually categorizing it and putting it in a place in your brain where you do not forget it. I do not have one of those thinking spokes. I appreciate it, but I don't have one of those. Really romantic and passive and a little negative and melancholy. And are you an artist and a writer and download information and are expressing your genius outside of a normal 9-to-5 clock? Are you sympathetic and warm and sensual and have thick hair or darker skin, kind of a Mediterranean look? And do people feel really comfortable in your environment or in your space, and they feel safe and want to be really close to you? Do you process it for lightning speed? Are you highly perceptive? Can you cut people with, as opposed to people falling on the ground on either side? Quiet, but if you say something, it matters. And or do you have this very global perspective and get hits of information made all together? So we're a combination of all of these. And when you know where your strengths lie in each one of them, it's really helpful because you can set great boundaries for yourself, and you know what's going to be in alignment with who you are, so that when you're creating, you're also creating a path of least resistance. So this is a time for our first commercial break for the Doer's Guide to Being. When we get back, we're going to do imagining. We're going to give some examples of what it's like to create a pattern and attract what you would like in alignment with your beautiful gifts and talents. You are listening to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, and we will return after this short commercial break.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment radio show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Do you want the world to be greater? Are you a seeker, and do you know more is possible? Together, we can make it happen. Join us for the 22nd Century Consciousness Showcase. More than 20 movers and shakers in the world of empowerment will unveil their strategies for creating dynamic future success. All our speakers will invite and inspire you with their visions in the exciting world of consciousness. Each of them have put together amazing promotional packages with extraordinary pricing that will be available to you just for participating with us. The showcase begins June 11th and runs through June 15th. Join us at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com to never miss any of the amazing video conversations and fabulous offerings. We look forward to creating the future consciousness with you. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, Please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden, and I am sharing today about the Doer's Guide to Being. But before we jump right back into that subject matter, all this week on Inspired Choices Network, as the commercial just stated, there are some great interviews with 20-plus consciousness leaders. This is a showcase between Monday and Friday. You have plenty of time to register. If you go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, there'll be an icon on the homepage that says 22nd Century Consciousness, and you can register there, because if you aren't able to watch the shows live, you'll be able to get them in replay. I will be interviewed Friday, June 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I would love your support. This is a fabulous offering. So please, 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 if you haven't registered, please do so, that you have a great library and you're going to meet some new people. And so before our commercial break, we were talking about living big self and being able to things into your life that are more positive, and a way to raise your vibration and keep it a little bit higher so that you continually bring in better and better and better things in life. So first of all, you have to know who you are. That is your background. Where did you live? Who your parents are, your siblings, what schools did you go to, what kind of jobs have you had. But knowing what you are really helps shape who you are. So knowing what you are, how to stay in the positive aspect of that, and what does it look like if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? What are your tolerances in perspective to people, places, and circumstances? Like, where are you comfortable living? What kind of environments feed you? How much energy you have, how you download information and commit things to memory. Things are what you are. And everybody is individual. No people meant to be alike, because before you came into physical form, there was a big committee and they all got together and, where are you going to be born? Who are your parents going to be? What part of the country are you going to live in? What is your socioeconomic background going to be? What lessons are you coming into this world to learn? And what are your gifts to share? There's only one of you, and each day is a gift. What is your precious essence giving each day to this very precious life that we have? When I found that there was an assessment that could monitor this, and I take it quarterly. I've taken it for 10 years quarterly. It really helps you keep a pulse where you are. I was thinking about why now? Why coming into, this is how you do it. I've only been hearing it for 10 years. I'm laughing at myself, and you can laugh at me too, because I think the difference is, at this point in my life, I'm actually excited and willing to do it. To do what it takes to get to the next step. A lot of people can meditate. I have it challenged sitting and meditating, so my meditation is a moving meditation. I will walk every day, and I walk my dogs, and I live in a beautiful place, so that gives me time to balance my body. That right-left movement is part of an exercise of brain balance, and it balances the hemispheres of your brain, and kind of get some of that excess energy out that I tend to have. And some of you really are equipped and meant to sit quietly and meditate. But it's really important to tune in. It's important to take the time to create the future that you want. And where you begin creation? You begin creation through your thoughts. I want to go to this school. I want to become that. I have to go through a 6-month certification course, or 2 years, or 4 years. It's all planned out. You have to know the end so you can begin getting to that end goal. Well, it's the same thing. We need to sit and imagine. If you don't like the story you're in now, you and you alone write your story. So whether it's literally writing it on a piece of paper every day, who your friends are, what you're going to be, who you are, or speaking it, there's a great exercise that Kyle Cease, friend Diego, created, and it's speaking from like it's already happened. Say you look 6 months back or a year back, and you have to do it out loud so your body, your brain hears you, and it's great to do it with a partner. It's like, oh my gosh, I wrote my book and I had no idea what impact it was going to make. It was like one of those God moments, and it absolutely took off, and it opened. Remember that, and how exciting and how fast-paced life was, and all of a sudden I'm talking on all these shows, able to teach, and my life was leading me. It was so exciting. And then the other person gives you feedback. Yeah, I was there. I was so happy that I was able to do that with you. And remember what this person said? So you're talking about it as it already occurred, and the universe has to close that loop. So you're talking about it as it's already occurred. You're actually projecting it into the future, and the two meet. Because time isn't linear, although it can wrap on itself. So we talk about it as though it's already happened, and we are excited. I used to think, how the heck do we do this? I'm meditating, and I have to throw the emotion in there. And again, do. How do I do that? That's a very constant question from my side of the fence. How do I do that? I want to know step A, B, and C. Well, I've known step A, B, and C on a mental level, but like, how do I put it into practice? And again, I found it difficult to sit and meditate and put myself in a moment. I like to talk, obviously, or I wouldn't have the show. So for me, to be able to speak the words out loud works really well, and I can be excited. I can feel that emotion. I can keep back, and it's really quick and easy. So you could do that with a relationship. Oh my gosh, I love hearing stories about how people met. And I was thinking about the qualities that I want in this person, and I went and I was sitting in a class just participating. It was all women. There was only one man there, and really nice person. We went out to dinner with a bunch of people, and he was saying all the things that really meant a lot to me. He was saying communication is the most important thing that you can have between two people. He was saying he loves to open doors for women and treat them like ladies, but he was often rejected by women who didn't value that. Well, I love that. He does well financially, but wants to do even better so he can help support animal causes and help people purchase cars or get into homes. He was saying all the things, or many of the things that I had on my list, and we got to be together, and it was just such a magical experience. Doesn't that sound a lot more exciting? Now, for those of you who can be still and meditate, God bless you, and you can do this very same thing. I tend to be high energy and need to move. So whether it's my mouth or my feet or both at the same time, that helps me get along. Get along, little doggy. So what else? What else about who you are that makes a difference? What motivates you? Do you ever think about that? Well, in this body of knowledge, there are 12 motivators, and you have a pilot and a co-pilot. And if a person, it's like being in a van with all these. So one's driving, one has a license, one is the co-pilot, and if one of the other one reaches over and starts to drive and they don't have a license, you can end up in the gutter. So we have things like initiating change, creating order, protection, persevering, and being really, really optimistic, humility. So when you take the assessment, you find out who your pilot and co-pilot, and you might have a second co-pilot, what those are. Mine are creating order and aesthetic beauty. So prior to this in my life, I was an executive assistant for 25 years. I'm very orderly. I like to put things together in a fashion where you can find them, or I'm teaching in a way that point A follows point B, etc. Aesthetic beauty has to do about my environment, and I need to be in a place that is beautiful in accordance to my level of refinement. And it also means I love one-on-one attention or to be in a group. That gives me so much energy. But everybody's combination is different, and it's really important to know how to stay in the strength of those things. Because if I don't get enough attention and I sit quietly by myself a lot, I can become self-absorbed and whiny. Or if I am not able to create order or get things the way I want them in the fashion that I want them, I call it being positively manipulative. I'll go to the man, I'll start pushing, I'll start calling, I'll start asking why. Actually, I'm a pain in the ass. That's what happens with that one. And it can feel controlling to other people, whether that's a mate or your children or coworkers, but you're really trying to create order. And if you know that, you can express it, and they go, oh, okay, they're just trying to create order. If you like things, your sense of refinement, I'm flexible and adaptable. I don't mind little messes around. I clean them up regularly, but I don't have to go to bed with all the dishes done and every piece of clothing hung up. I'll do it the next morning. Some people really need to have a spotless, very clean, everything in its place, for the high sense of refinement for them to function. And some people are very organic and messy and dreadlocks and mismatched clothes and can camp and can do fabulous things in third world countries and thrive and give their gifts to the world in an amazing way, but not necessarily within their home environment. So there's all kinds of things to this amazing body that we have that helps us be in a place of being rather than doing. We're going to go into our second commercial break. And on the other side, we're going to look at how we download information and connect with the world around us and why that's important. And then we're going to do some imagining work again. We're going to do some exercises of what do you want. So I'm excited to follow up and continue this conversation on the other side of this commercial break. Be back soon.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment radio show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden, and today's discussion is on the Doer's Guide to Being. So we're flip-flopping around doing, who we are, and how do we be. That sounds funny, isn't it? How do you be? I do want to remind you one more time, it's very it would behoove you and it would fill you if you register for the 25th Century Consciousness Showcase. Go to the inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, and there's a beautiful icon that says 20th Century Consciousness. Click on that, and there is the information that'll walk you through registration. If you're unable to watch the 20-plus leaders in consciousness live, you'll be able to see them in archive. And my show is going to air this Friday, June 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would love your support, and I think you'd be filled with the amazing people that are on the show. Also, if you would like to be our golden alignment, let's see if we could collaborate on that and if we're a good match for one another. And you'll be highlighted on the show and within the commercials. So before our break, we were talking about motivate you, your sense of refinement. We're going to talk a little bit about how you download information, connect with the world around you, and commit things to memory. Now, each of these categories are all determined by an 87-question, 10 to 12-minute online, which is amazingly accurate. I go over this information with people, and then we have a 7 to 9 page report that you get to have. You might know a lot of the things I'm sharing, but it is uncanny, absolutely uncanny how accurate it is. And it's very objective, which means it's not coming through my filter. You're sharing your information. Now, what does it mean it's not coming through my filter? I'm going to tell you a story about the rabbit and the lion, and it might seem like a childish, but it makes a good point. So there was a lion, and he became a life. He puts his little shingle out, and the first client is a bunny. And the bunny comes in, he says, well, it just isn't working, and I'm like darting from place to place, and it's just not happening. And the lion says, well, you need to eat more meat and roar every day, and that's going to make you feel better. Back in about 3 days, and we'll see how you're doing. Now, the bunny comes back in 3 days, and it's so hoarse, he can barely talk. And the lion, well, what's wrong? I've been roaring and roaring, and my throat is sore, and I've been eating meat. I don't feel well. Well, keep it up. You're great. Well, it ends up that the poor bunny passed away. So with this assessment, I'm seeing who you are. Obviously, the bunny eats grass. It does more. It lives underground. It's much more timid. The lion wasn't looking and seeing the very being that's in front of him and honoring it. And I am able to do that. I can see you. It's like fine-tuning a radio, like you get that static and then you turn it to the right little tick and it's really clear. I'm able to do that so that you can live in alignment with your soul's calling, that you remember what your soul's calling is. And then, like me, go, oh, that's all I had to do? And all of a sudden, very quickly, your life begins to change in a very big way. So we are either moving centered, we have all of them, but whatever the primary one is, moving centered, emotionally centered, instinctually centered, or intellectually centered. Moving centered is easy. You have to move in order to download information. So some of you might be or have friends that love to run and ride bikes and your leg, and you need to doodle when you're listening or you can't download information. Emotionally centered people love to give hugs and be close, and they love people, plants, and animals. And if they don't have enough of that in their life, they begin to wilt. Intellectually centered people love to read and absorb information and ask lots of questions until they get the answer that satisfies them. Instinctually centered people, everything has to look good, smell good, sound good, taste good, feel good, all the five senses. And of course, we'd say, well, of course we do. But these people, it's very pronounced. So if it's too hot or too cold or the clock's ticking or you smell diesel, it just is very distracting and you can't download information. So where does that kind of come in? Well, big deal. Yeah, I get it. Well, what happens if you're dating? What happens if you're going into a job interview And we call each of those different categories like doors to your heart. My largest and biggest area that I function in is being emotionally centered first, moving centered second. So that's the first thing people bump into. Like if you reach your hands up side to side, front and back, your electromagnetic field, that's the first thing someone would bump into. Well, what happens if somebody else's front door is my last front door? It could actually take 5 minutes to get to their heart. But if you know how to get right to their heart, you walk in and you shake hands. So that is emotionally centered because you're touching, and moving centered because you're shaking the hands. You're walking into the office. You sit down. You make sure the space is very comfortable so the person won't be distracted. And then you ask very succinct questions. If they're intellect-centered, people like that are kind of like bullet point thinkers. You'll know right away. And if they start chatting more, you'll understand that they're relaxed and they might be more emotionally centered. But just by walking in, shaking hands, walking them to the space, sitting in a comfortable area, you've opened the door to any person on the planet's heart so that you can speak the language that suits them best and that they actually hear you and you actually hear them. Now, the benefit of this information, at least in my world, of course everyone's different, I used to be very critical. I would look at somebody and make some judgment, and I knew I was doing it and I didn't like it, and I was doing it and I didn't like it, and I'd be angry off. When I learned this information, not only did I know myself and begin to create really good boundaries, I could see the perfection of the people around me. My critical nature was subdued because I could see people. Like that my son was really quiet and needed alone time to restore, where the other one was moving centered and really wild and extroverted, and he needed something else in order to thrive. I could see that the people around me when I worked in the pharmaceutical industry and education for years, I was able to each person and honor who they were because we're in charge of the relationships around us. We're not the tail wagging the dog, right? Dog wagging the tail. And it gives you a beautiful edge on communicating, and not in a mean, manipulative way, but in a kind, loving way. Well, I tell you what, time goes fast, and we are going to be going into our third and final commercial break here. And we will wrap this up. The last section will do some exercises, as I was saying, to help you be in that place of being and creating. So I'm excited to wrap up with that after this break.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment radio show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Do you want the world to be greater? Are you a seeker, and do you know more is possible? Together, we can make it happen. Join us for the 22nd Century Consciousness Showcase. More than 20 movers and shakers in the world of empowerment will unveil their strategies for creating dynamic future success. All our speakers will invite and inspire you with their visions in the exciting world of consciousness. Each of them have put together amazing promotional packages with extraordinary pricing that will be available to you just for participating with us. The showcase begins June 11th and runs through June 15th. Join us at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com to never miss any of the amazing video conversations and fabulous offerings. We look forward to creating the future consciousness with you. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment, with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back. You are listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth, and we're talking about the Doer's Guide to Being. So let's summarize what we've talked about. You are an absolute miracle. There's only one of you on the planet, and there's another one just like yourself. You are a spirit, a soul, having a physical experience. We always say when they passed away, when the spark of life exits your body, we cease to exist on the physical plane anyway. We get to create our reality. We get to change our story. And it's really important to know ourselves, our strengths, our weaknesses, what motivates us, what we can tolerate in camping or high-class hotels, what clothes feel good, what are our friends. And if you're not in a place where that's optimal for you, you can actually magnetize something different in very short order. So talk about some of the ways that you can do that. Setting healthy boundaries. Now, when you know what motivates you, and let's say you love to initiate change. You're either in construction or you're a prospect within the area and you tear things down and build them back up. Or you're flipping homes and you buy a house and you undo it and you create it beautifully. You're an interior designer. What if you're in the Army and blowing things up and putting things back together? What do you need to stay in the center of that? What do I need to stay in the center of having the attention and beauty? When you know those things, it's a whole lot easier to say yes or no to people's requests. Another way that creates a gauge or bookends, as I call it, is knowing your core desired feelings and your core desired values. Now, what does that mean? Since we live in the third dimension, I just stick with threes because our brain can remember them better. What are the three feelings that you would like to stay in the majority of the time? Mine are love, joy, and ease. Love equates to happiness to me. So whether I'm in love with somebody, love with myself, love with my surroundings, love with my friends, happy, joy. And when things come in with ease, I know they're in alignment with who I am. So take a moment and think about what are your three core desired feelings. And then values. These are things that you look for in others, as well as these are things that you're holding and giving to the world from yourself. So my three core desired values are respect, integrity, and good communication. So I must be spoken to and treated with respect. Otherwise, I really shut down. And you may be in my space, but I'm not going to contribute because you don't make me feel good and you're not honoring who I am. So it could be like at arm's distance. Integrity covers honesty, showing up on time, doing the things that you say you're going to do when you're going to do them. And communication, good communication, which means not holding things in to the point that you're going to explode. So those are good bookends. What if you're looking for a job? What are the things that you're looking for in a job? What are you imagining? What's the environment like? Who are the people? How much money are you going to make in exchange for your expertise? write those things out, because when you go to a job interview, you are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. And you need to kind of have those bookends so that you hear those key phrases. And you also have to go with this, like, feelers. How does this place feel? Is it an environment that I would thrive in? When I look around, are people happy? Are they getting along? You know, what kind of flow is there? In conjunction with, you know, benefits and things like that. What about a meet? All of those things are part of the story that you get to write when you're really, really clear. So what do you want? I don't know about you, who fall into stinking thinking. Again, that critical nature comes in. I see what's not working. I get upset. I create all these daydreams of negativity. Instantly, as soon as I start, what do you want? What do you want? So I shift from my imaginings to what do I want and why? Because once you figure out what you want and why, the why part starts creating solutions and shifts that energy so they're attracting what you want. There is a scale in the book called Power versus Force by Dr. David R. Hawkins. He was a PhD as well as an MD, as well as a Bodhisattva, which is a high religious sense of self-awareness. And he created the scale of emotional frequency. And at the bottom of that scale is the word shame, and that vibrates at 20, and that is one step above death. Then it goes up the scale, there's a line, and right above that line is courage, and that vibrates at 200. Well, a lot of people are down in anger and pride and guilt and shame, and, you know, if you can get your head above the water, your head above that line to courage, you start bringing in more and more positive things. And being encouraged actually puts you in a place of positive action. You're ready to take a positive action and make a change, because changes can be scary. And sometimes we want to just sit in our crap because it feels familiar, rather than having the courage to make one small change at a time so that your life is a lot better. The ultimate goal is to live in love, joy, peace, and gratitude. And love begins at a vibration of about 500. Not many people on this planet can sustain that. Humanity, I was just at a conference, humanity vibrates at about 200, at about that level of courage. So if you think about that, am I afraid to change? Am I having a hard time making the courage, having the courage to take action? It's very important to ask. That's another step. So what do you want? Why do you want it? How am I going to get there? Well, I don't know. I laugh because I do that frequently. I don't know, but somebody else knows that can help you. And they'll be more than happy to take your hand and walk you through that and help you take those steps and keep a vision for you when you can't keep it for yourself. That's prosperity. I know you can do it. I know you can graduate. I know that you can get this job. I know that you can play this song. I know you're going to find the love of your life. I know you're going to get that car, and let me show you how to do it. I'll walk with you. I'll walk beside you. I'll put my hand in the small of your back so you know I'm there. I'll pull you if you want me to. It's really important to ask for help and get that support you need, because those new things are scary. We don't know how they're going to feel. So it really helps to have someone that's a step or two ahead of you to help you along that path. And then again, remember, speaking, thinking. Your consciousness has absolutely no idea if you're talking about the past, present, or future. So let's talk excitedly about what you want in each area of your life. Share that with a friend to get some feedback. take. So, action items. Who are you? What are your core desired feelings? What are your core desired values? What are those things that you need to have markers on either side? If you're looking for a mate, because, oh, he's the perfect person, I love him so much, but he smokes. And that's one of the things that is on the other side of the list. Do not enter in because perfection is for you. Don't give in for one negative thing. So what do you want? Why do you want it? Write those things down. Speak them with a partner and a friend, how to get there, and then knowing who you are. It's pretty simple, but why the heck wasn't I doing that all this time? Things turn around really, really quickly. I am Dr. Beth Golden, and I'm an expert in the Ultimate Life Tool, and I would love to support you in knowing these. I work with people who have been on a personal or spiritual journey for quite some time and are just in this space where they need some support. They need someone to help them keep a vision for the future and honor who they are and remind you of who you are. I would love the opportunity to see if we're a good match for one another. Please feel free to contact me. All my contact information is on the network, InspiredVoicesNetwork.com, under my show Golden Alignment, and my name is Beth Golden. Please remember to sign up for the 22nd Century Consciousness program, same website, and you'll have access to all the information and archived shows. That runs from yesterday throughout Friday, Monday through Friday of this week. All right, let's take a deep breath. What is your golden alignment? Who are you? If you want to know answers to that question, I am here to lovingly support you through that process. You are amazing and you deserve to have the very best life that you can achieve here. You are a gift, and I am here to help you. Thank you for listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Beth Golden. Stay tuned next week, Wednesday, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care. God bless.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Golden Alignment. Dr. Beth Golden will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, enjoy playing in that golden space where health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities appear in golden